Welcome to the voice behind the story. In this series, we follow Anna, a woman rebuilding herself piece by piece after love tried to break her. Each part reveals another layer of her journey. Because healing isn't always loud. Sometimes, it whispers. Subscribe. Like. Stay close, this might just be your story too. When her heart forgot how to run. Part 1. The calm after the chaos. Anna was 29. Not old enough to say, "I've lived everything," but not young enough to still believe that love was made of magic and roses. She lived alone, in a small apartment with white curtains and 3 different brands of tea, none of which she ever drank. She bought them because they made the shelf look full. Like her life was full. It wasn't. It had been 1 year since she left Darius. 7 years together. 7 years of being adored, controlled, confused, silenced, begged for, and blamed. 7 years of feeling like she was never enough, but also too much. She remembered the first time he yelled at her. They were in the kitchen. She had spilled some wine on the counter. A small thing. But his voice exploded like a bomb. "Are you serious, Anna? Can't you be careful for once?" Her hands shook. She apologized. He walked away. 20 minutes later, he came back with her favorite chocolate and kissed her forehead. "I'm sorry, baby. I'm just stressed. You know I love you, right?" She nodded. That's when the conditioning began. A year after leaving, she still flinched when someone raised their voice. Even at the grocery store. Even if it wasn't about her. Her therapist told her it was called hypervigilance. The brain doesn't forget danger. Even when the danger is gone. Especially when it wore the face of someone you loved. And now there was Victor. Victor was the opposite of chaos. He was stillness. He spoke softly, laughed with his eyes, and waited a few extra seconds before responding, as if he wanted to make sure his words were kind before letting them go. She met him at a bookstore. She had been looking at a poetry collection. He said something cheesy like, "If you're into heartbreak poems, I have a few written in my notes app." She rolled her eyes. But she smiled. And, for some reason, she gave him her number. The first few weeks with Victor were confusing. There were no games. No power struggles. He didn't take 3 hours to respond just to seem cool. He texted back in minutes. Asked if she ate. Shared silly songs. Called her sunshine even when she was moody. And that was the problem. Because somewhere deep inside, Anna didn't trust comfort. Comfort felt fake. Temporary. A trick before the fall. So she tested him. She replied coldly to his sweet texts. She canceled dates last minute, claiming she was busy. She went 3 days without speaking, just to see if he'd chase her. He didn't chase. But he didn't disappear either. He just said, "I'll be here when you're ready. But I won't play tug-of-war with your fear. That's not love." That line hit her like a brick. Because nobody ever called it that before. Fear. But that's what it was. Her hesitations. Her pushbacks. Her silence. Her sarcasm. Not pride. Not confidence. Not mystery. Just fear. One night, they sat on a bench in the park. She was distant. Again. Victor turned to her and asked, "What scares you most about me?" She didn't answer at first. Then finally, in a whisper, "That you might be real. That this might be safe. And that I wouldn't know what to do with it." He reached for her hand, gently. No force. No pressure. "Then let's take it one breath at a time. I'll walk slow, so you never feel the need to run." And, just like that, something cracked. Not her. Not him. Not the moment. The wall. That night, she cried in the shower. But not the kind of crying that empties you. This one filled her. Because for the first time in years, she wasn't crying from pain. She was crying from being seen. From being met without needing to perform. From safety. Still, healing wasn't a straight line. She had days when she'd wake up and feel like she didn't deserve Victor's warmth. She'd pull away, say, "You should find someone easier." And every time, he'd look at her with calm eyes and say, "Easy doesn't mean better. I'm not looking for easy. I'm looking for true. And you, Anna, you are." She kept expecting the other shoe to drop, the mask to fall, the darkness to creep in. But with Victor, it never did. He got mad sometimes, sure. He had his own flaws, but he never made her feel small for hers. When they argued, he didn't yell. He listened. When she panicked, he didn't mock. He paused. When she apologized too many times, he said, "You don't owe me perfect behavior. Just honesty." By the end of month 3, Anna noticed something strange. She didn't flinch when he touched her shoulder. She didn't feel the need to over-explain herself. She didn't apologize for crying during movies. She laughed. Loud, unapologetically. Like a kid. Her heart was learning to stay. But the biggest moment came one rainy Tuesday when he looked at her and said, "I love you." Not grand. Not dramatic. Just honest. She froze. And then she whispered, "I believe you." Not "I love you" back. Not yet. But believing love was possible? That was a victory. And arrow, end of part 1. Green circle, stay tuned for part 2. Triggers and teacups. Anna faces a wave of emotional flashbacks and old trauma, and Victor must learn how to hold space for storms he didn't cause. Question for the audience. Have you ever struggled to accept a healthy love because of an old wound? Share your story. It might help someone else take the first step too.